I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Diffuse, mine it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, applied myself.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of FFC. And ladies and gentlemen, it ain't the last one, but this is the sayonara to fantasy football for the rest of this year. So this is going to be our recap episode of the 2023 fantasy football season. It is a sad episode. We only got one more NFL game left before the playoffs start. So there are a few lingering fantasy leagues out there, the ones that do the 2-week fantasy playoffs. So I believe their fantasy league will end this week, so we do have that to deal with or to go over with for players to start to sit for this last week of football. But in normal cases, fantasy football is over, and in certain cases we have champions that we like to celebrate. And right now, I would like to actually bring on a special guest from the Refuse to Lose family, who is actually this year's Refuse to Lose champion, Income Ty.
What's up?
My man Ty, how you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm doing great.
So, Ty is this year's Refuse to Lose NFL fantasy football champion. Ty, how does it feel? How does it feel?
Feels great. I already know it's going to win anyway, so it feels great.
And I ain't gonna lie, Ty was talking it from the beginning. He, from what I remember, he had a decent draft. So, if you can take us all the way back, how did your draft go?
My draft went great. People were making fun of my draft because they were sitting laughing, trying to figure out why I picked who I picked. But I was listening to Coach when Coach said draft the quarterback late. So I drafted the quarterback late. Got me Purdy. Got me Justin Fields. My first pick was CMC, which is an easy pick.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty good.
See, and a lot of people, they don't believe in that method. The only time you'll ever really struggle when you stream a quarterback late is if one of your quarterbacks doesn't pan out. So you do have to have one that you're going to be, jumping around trying to figure out each week who's going to be that second quarterback guy. It can happen like that sometimes. But in certain cases, nobody believed in Purdy. Everybody believed Purdy was a one-year fluke. Everybody believed, don't get me wrong. I was one guy saying, they didn't have tape on him for 8 games. So let's see what he does this year. But as long as Brandon and you could go out there and catch footballs that we haven't seen without a decent quarterback, as long as Christian McCaffrey isn't running through a wall, and as long as Debo was basically picking up everything else, what issues was Purdy going to run into?
Yeah.
So why go out there and get Justin Herbert, who's out for the season, a Joe Burrow, who's out for the season, a Deshaun Watson, who's out for the season? Like, I'm about powerhouse picks in the first 5 drafts. That quarterback, if I can't get Patrick Mahomes, and look at how that's going this year. This ain't even the year for that. So this honestly was the year to weaponize your fantasy team, and you did a great job. And I looked at a lot of guys' teams at the beginning when they drafted, and I wasn't impressed with a lot of people's.
Mm-hmm.
I understood Kev. When me and Kev talked, I understood what he did. He went for a high risk, low reward for a lot of his players. It can work. I don't know how sustainable it is throughout the season.
Yeah.
Because with a team like his, you're gonna run into bye week fiasco. That high risk reward crap ain't gonna work during that week, during that time span. So you had a good draft. I like the method that you leaned in with. So throughout the season, and were there any trades that you made?
I made no trades because I made trades last year, which killed me. So this year I said, only way I'll make a trade, it got to benefit me. I didn't care. I'm not giving you nothing unless it benefited me. But I did do a whole bunch of waivers. Did a bunch of those.
Okay. Now, there's a method coach always uses, and it is a no trade method. I'm sorry. For me, if I literally built the team from the ground up, what I need anybody else for? Nobody on my team is struggling. Nobody on my team is hurt. Nobody on my team is injured. You know what I mean? So what trades do I need to make right now? What is it that you want something from me? So that means it's got to be something on your team worth me giving up what I'm over here salivating over. So I'm a big one that's a rough one to trade with. But again, if the trade is good, I'll take it.
Yep, that's how I felt this year.
Good. So what was your record in the total?
I think it was 10-4. I think. Let me make sure. It was. Yep, 10-4.
Okay, now with that 10-4, did you ever hit any weeks where you had back-to-back losses, or were they pretty much sporadic and probably mostly during the bye week time?
It was like sporadic. It was like when a player got hurt or a bye week for a big player. That's what I did.
Now, speaking of players getting hurt, did you lose any big names on your roster that made you pivot in the waiver wire? As you said, you did a lot of waiver wire picking.
Well, one player got hurt, but I didn't release him. It was Nico when he got hurt. I didn't release him.
Okay.
And also when Karen Williams got hurt, I got Karen. I got both of those players through the waiver. But when they got hurt, I kept them on my team. I just found a way to get other players.
That's nice. Hit that waiver wire. Because those are players that did not need to be dropped. You had to endure the time that they were going to be out.
Yeah.
Now, was there any team that you played against when you knew, like, oh, I hope this is that made you double think about your lineups?
Trent.
Really?
Yeah, when I played Trent, because Trent's sneaky. Trent out of nowhere changed his whole depth chart on you. So you gotta watch him. You gotta watch the whole time. He catch you out of nowhere, just change his whole depth. You're like, oh yeah, I got this joint. Let you know he changed the whole thing. Like, Jesus.
It's a brain strategy. I do that too. Because sometimes what I like to do is I'll wait till Saturday night when where he just thinks this is gonna be my roster, and then he wake up that next morning and be like, man, and then change his whole team. Yeah, I did. I'll even pick up a kicker and drop him on Sunday morning and pick up a new kicker. I never play the kicker that I actually start off with in that week. Never do that. I like to play blind games.
I got rid of like about 3 or 4 kickers.
And I need people to understand something. Your kicker, you shouldn't be drafting nowhere near unless he's Justin Tucker, but you're gonna have to let Justin Tucker go. There's other pieces on your roster that are more detrimental. But that defense, that kicker, and that quarterback, if those can wait till your last 3, you should be able to build a beautiful roster. Like real talk.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's what I did. So
what method now in the first 4 picks? What method did you do? Did you go running back, wide receiver? I know you said Christian McCaffrey was your first pick.
Running back, wide receiver.
Yep, that is my method too. If I know I'm gonna go last at quarterback, or if we're anywhere near towards the end for quarterbacks and stuff like that, yeah, I usually go running back heavy, and then I'll backdoor with 3 wide receivers. Yep.
Yeah.
Unless I can sneak a tight end in there with that 5th pick, I'll go 3 wide receivers.
Tight end, I got Ingram. That was my tight end I got.
Nice. You got it. So that means you got him late. Nobody saw that.
Yeah.
And see, he was very sustainable through the year. He had a couple games, but he was a saving grace for a tight end throughout the entire year.
Yeah, and I got Taysom Hill doing the waiver wire. So
and it's nice because there was a few weeks span where he was all over the field. So people were probably pissed that he was on your roster. Like, white man, how you pick up Taysom? Yeah, no, you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Now forget Taysom Hill. There's games. It's just like when teams write him off. There's a certain time of the year when he gets written off, and that's when he gets most of his play time.
Yep.
Usually around week 8, week 9. That's where he gets most of his playing time because y'all didn't pay attention.
Yep. Yep.
it's never a longevity with Taysom Hill, but there is like a few games where they actually practice and work in game plans because for the first 5-6 weeks, nobody's looking at Taysom Hill. They're looking at everything else on the Saints, and then the Saints come out and just trick you for a couple weeks.
And also had Olave also from the Saints.
Now, I'm going to be talking about him today. Good job on that one because he has been amazing all year. And mind you, this is him playing without playing with Carr sometimes.
Yeah, but he played
So
like
he was
last
able to
year.
still sustain as a top wide receiver. I'm
Yeah,
keeping my eye on him.
who he had last year. So I knew this year was gonna be a good year.
Exactly. Because the only one that I think Drake London is the only one that I'm like, I don't think he's working out. He's the only one I was worried about him, and my worry was confirmed. But that whole Atlanta roster, something is wrong because I mean Kyle Pitts is I don't think he's a bad tight end. I just don't think he belongs in Atlanta.
It's a coach.
they don't use him.
Yeah, him or their running back.
Yep. I don't know what that was. And I told people leave him alone. I said, if you're going to go for a rookie running back, never go for a first-round rookie running back. Go for that 4th, 5th rounder, which would be Jahmyr Gibbs. And who had the better season? Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
he may have started off slower, but that's because of where he was playing. He was already named the number 2. What you had to do was wait for him to take over, which is exactly what he did. It always happens every year. I know where that running back is. It's always a certain team that they go to where you know they can take over. It's will they take over?
Yeah.
The same thing happened with Kareem Hunt when he was a Kansas City Chief. He was the one rookie running back you got late, but he panned out as a first round fantasy running back outside of his discretion.
Then I also got Swift at running back.
Now, how was that this year? Because
Swift was he was it was like,
and it was just like you couldn't drop him because even when he played and he got the ball, it was like yes, and it was just like why can't this happen every freaking week?
I wanted to release him within the first 2 weeks. I wanted to release him. I wanted to release him. Like I'm like, why not get him? Yeah, I think he was my second pick also.
And he was probably one of the hardest ones to trade. I'm assuming.
I wouldn't trade him. I wanted to. Okay. I'm glad I didn't because sometimes he had some points. So.
Yeah, and if you started him during them times, it worked out because I'm assuming if you started him, you flexed him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now,
Tyron Williams popping off with the way he did.
He's gonna flex for the last game too. So, but he had no good game.
Nice. Did you start Purdy in that ugly game a couple weeks ago?
No, when I played Tomo that week too because Tomo was the one reason I did because Tomo said something smart. He said, "I bet you won't start Fields." I said, "Okay, bet." So I put Fields in.
That was the smartest move. Dude played great. He had a great game. I'm gonna be wrong. The yards aren't there, but they're letting him play Justin Fields football. So that's always a great thing for them when they can do that. So damn, that was smart. Yeah, because I had a lady who was supposed to win, but she lost because it was one of those things where I tell people too, these last 3 weeks, you have to pay attention of when these teams are playing because they can get flexed. You like, for instance, somebody didn't pay attention of that Thursday night game or whatever game the 49ers were playing and when Green Bay was playing and they were supposed to start Jordan Love and didn't realize Jordan Love played early. So they ended up having Purdy in the game. Jeez. And he shot the bed so bad. I hate to use the language, but it's just one of those things where you see Jordan Love's points on your bench and you got Purdy getting ready to play and he does that to you. Like, that's your season right there.
Yeah, and I had hurt. That's that was like probably your last game of the season anyway, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was their last game. That was, yep.
Jeez. Yeah,
that was I want to say that was the championship. Because the guy who started off in first place in that league, he ended up going second place because he lost to the second place guy. But he ended up winning it all. Because, again, he was another one. He listened to coach, and he had a great draft. And do you know who took him all the way? Baker Mayfield.
Jeez.
Buddy had Baker because he listened to me, and he loaded his team up early. And his last quarter, basically his pick of the quarterback was Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And Baker had a beautiful season this year.
I didn't expect that though. I didn't expect.
No, me neither. I really didn't.
Because he wasn't on my list at all.
He did his rookie season. That was really good.
Yeah,
he should be comeback player of the year, hopefully. But yeah, it's guys like that, man. It's guys like that I tell people you got to look at the offense they're in, like Sam Howell. I was preaching Sam Howell all year. So people who had Sam Howell at least got you to the playoffs because he was the number one quarterback in passing yards for most of the season. CJ Stroud was probably just the only surprise to most just because of the fantastic, almost MVP-like season that he had this year. You really don't get that out of a rookie quarterback. So that was just those two quarterbacks to me blew me out of the water. But you won your championship with Purdy, with what's his name, Justin Fields, with quarterbacks who did not get paid, quarterbacks who basically went out there and played this year. That's who won your championship, and they were not anywhere near the fourth rounds of picks.
Nope.
Like, look at all the quarterbacks that were in the top 4 picks, and where are all those teams at? They sitting on the bench watching everybody else win championships. You gotta understand fantasy football strategy. You load up on weapons. Sometimes you can go running back. Sometimes it might be best to go wide receiver. But you should never stick a quarterback in there.
I had a friend who picked the quarterback first. I told him not to. Yeah.
Really?
He had a bad season.
And you know what? You know who's in the championship too? I have another guy's in the championship. Nobody believed in his roster. Nobody. He did go with a pick of he had Lamar Jackson. So I think he got Lamar in the 4th or 5th round. That's not bad. But he won his championship because he had half of the San Francisco 49ers. And he had Christian McCaffrey, he had Deebo Samuels, he had Brock Purdy as his other quarterback because Jackson was his other one. But he also had Sam Laporta and he had Jahmyr Gibbs. Jeez. And he had Jalen Waddle.
Then Waddle get hurt?
He got hurt now, but he also had CeeDee Lamb. Okay. So he built a pretty good team. Listening to me, I helped. His biggest thing was he wanted to have Waddle because Waddle his favorite player. I tell him stay away from that favorite player stuff. But if it's his first year, it's an 8-man league. I was like, that's fine. I'll make it easy for you. You know what I mean? If you go with Jalen Waddle, you're gonna have to get this at your quarterback. This is gonna have to be your running back because he had the first pick. So of course Christian McCaffrey was his first pick. And again, that should have been everybody's first pick if that was your number 1 pick.
I got laughed at for doing that.
And I don't understand why. There was nothing this year that said Christian McCaffrey was the number 1 running back. Nothing. What said anything outside of that? Purdy was healthy. The team looked good. Nobody went into training camp hurt and came out of training camp hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? The people I told you people to stay away from was Jonathan Taylor, who didn't come to work for the first 4 weeks of football. Where he at now? Where's your team at now if you drafted Jonathan Taylor? Please tell me. Because if you drafted him anywhere near before the 7th round, because I dropped him all the way down, he didn't show up to work in training camp. Then he wasn't playing for the first 4 weeks in the NFL. Then he came back and gave you 3 good weeks and got hurt again? How did that work out for everybody? I told people stay away from Jonathan Taylor. Go get Saquon Barkley is what I said in the first round. Why? He went to work. He signed that franchise tag and he was ready to go to work. That's who you want. I told people to go get Joe Mixon. Why? Because after he beat the case, he signed that small contract and he went to work. You got to pay attention to the people that go to work. If you ain't at work, I don't want you on my team. I'm sorry. If you can make it to the team before training camp start, before week preseason 1 week game, all right, we good. But if I'm not seeing you for the 4 weeks of preseason, I don't want you on my team. I will let somebody else deal with that. Same way I let somebody else deal with the fact that Stephon Diggs can't catch in the cold. How's people's rosters looking right now with Stephon Diggs in the month of December? Please tell me.
Pretty bad.
People hold on to that 1,200 yards. Hold on to it. It ain't winning you a fantasy football champion.
Fat.
But hey, congratulations again. So Joe will be issuing you those winnings. How much is it for first place? What was the payout for first place?
$280.
That's nice. I will be joining next year. This year, Coach had a lot of had a lot of stuff going on between college and doing this show. But yeah, Coach will be joining. I have 2 leagues I'm joining. I'm joining one at my job, and I'll be joining this one. Do you know if we're making this one an IDP league? Do you know if we're making this one an IDP league?
I don't know.
Like independent defensive players?
I don't know. I don't know. Hope so.
We need to make it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, I hope
think.
so. I'm ready. Trust me, I'm gonna study.
See, I like that. That's awesome. Oh, and I do have one more. I'm gonna do a dynasty league. I'm gonna try a dynasty league.
Okay.
I've always found those pretty fascinating because they draft differently. It's literally all about rookies and how they pan out. So that's a hard thing to do, and I want to give that one a try and see how that work out.
Okay.
I don't care if I come in last place. I just want to see I want to learn how to do it so I can start bringing that type of those type of leagues into my show more.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate you. Congratulations again on the win.
No problem. Thank you.
You got me scared, Ty. Your methods, your the way you draft, the way you think going in and coming out, like you're smart about it. I like it. You make me scared. You think real good when it comes to, and you have a perspective of what you're thinking about when you're looking at players, and that's unfortunately nobody else saw your perspective. That's why they're not in the championship. That's how
Yep.
But thank you again for coming, man. Congratulations.
No problem. Thank you, man.
No problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ty. He is a super fantasy football champion. It's always a good feeling. I mean, he gets to hold on to that for a whole year. He should be. I know he's getting a payout. A trophy should be coming. I hope a trophy is coming. If not, I'm buying my damn self. This league needs a trophy. We need something to hold up and say, I kicked your ass. How about that? But all right, so we're going to go on a quick commercial break, and when we return, we are going to basically get into our 2023 fantasy season and read these wonderful players that did great for us, and we're going to talk about some that didn't. So you guys stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Yo, my name is Lambo Anlo.
This is Dimitri.
This is Ed Hahn.
My name is Daryl Julian, and this is
Refuse to lose sports.
Refuse to lose sports.
Refuse to Lose Sports.
Refuse to lose sports.
Mine it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie. I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah, no time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah, refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah, no time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm ready to win. Yeah, refuse.
Welcome back from that commercial break. How you guys doing? All right, so we had special guest Ty on here just a few moments ago. Championship in his own right in the Refuse to Lose Fantasy Football League. Joe, commish, bro, we need to make next year's league an IDP league. Let's challenge everybody. Like, we know skill players. Coach gonna help you out with the skill players. But you know, Coach know defense. Yeah, Coach know that defense. We need to add some IDP players, man. And matter of fact, let's remove kickers and defenses. Since we're gonna add IDPs, let's remove kickers, add an extra flex spot. Okay. Let's bring in some more challenging affordability when we do this. I think that's what we need. We have a lot of great minds in this Refuse to Lose family. I mean, from Ty, Vaughn, Dave, Joe, myself, Carl, Teddy, Tomo, Worm. I'm missing so many other names. My bad, y'all. Some of my Texas fam, like we got a lot of great minds. AJ, he was spilling that news about AJ Brown. I was listening, I was watching. AJ Brown's the number one. You can change coach's mind, it ain't hard. Just know what you talk about. Just don't come with the fooly wooly, you know. Silence Mark 2023, you know. He comes every blue moon with some thoughts, you know. Brian Robinson. He was big on Brian Robinson. So, but no, we got a lot of great minds in that refuse to lose chat. So we need to challenge those minds. We may make the league a little bit harder next year. I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna enjoy it. Caden, if you hear me, I'm sorry. I saw your message late and I could not respond to you on YouTube because I was at work, and I apologize. I'm so sorry. You said you needed my help. Even the producer came and showed me the message when I was out, like, no, I can't help him. I was so sad. Caden. I do hope you won. I hope that meant you were in the championship and you needed coach's help because you needed to make the right lineup. Hopefully, you took yourself into the mind of coach and you said, what would coach do? And hopefully, you didn't start Stephon Diggs or Jamar Gibbs because he did not pan out this week. But I mean, hopefully you had Zay Jones, Zay Flowers. Hopefully he was one of your guys. CeeDee Lamb, Mr. Test Subject. Quick, NFL. Look, real talk. I got to come for y'all sometimes. You chose to come piss CeeDee Lamb over that game because he went crazy. You do understand there was literally a blown coverage that gave him one of those humongous bombs. Like, are you serious? He needs to be drug tested because the defender failed. Is that what we're doing now? So AJ Brown's having a tremendous season, doesn't get tested, right? But he goes out there and he calls out CeeDee Lamb and says, don't compare me to him. All he does is run in the slot. CeeDee Lamb shuts his mouth, proceeds to line up outside the numbers, one-on-one, and is beating coverages. He's basically doing his job. And you say, we think you hot. Really? Okay. You were wrong for that. And I really do hope he's clean. He's clean because that's an insult to you. Real talk. And I hope he comes after and I hope he sues the NFL for this embarrassment because that's cold-blooded. So a player basically can't be great. We need to stay mediocre so we don't get pissed now. Like, come on, really? You all need. I get it. You're checking the blocks, but some check boxes require this: a brain, a thought. NFL, really? Goodness gracious! All right, so let's check these. All right, let us go into our notes here and let's go over some highlights of the 2023 season. We had some good ones, we had some bad ones. Okay. One more note. Well, for those of you in the championship, how did it go? You know, how did you fare? You know, Ty, Vaughn, man, it came down to you two. I love that. I love that it came down to Ty and Vaughn because see, what people wasn't there, people didn't know. Vaughn was putting in that same work. I didn't get to talk to Vaughn. Unfortunately, he won the champion, but I know Vaughn. I know how. I don't say I know how he thinks, but see, me and Vaughn talk football. We same way me and Ty can we can talk football without a debate. We can just necessarily speak the game through its own just immeasurable excitement. You know what I mean? It's a football conversation. You know, it's different than debating. And there's only so many few guys that can really just sit down and just spew football. You know what I mean? And Vaughn is one of those guys. He's another one like Dave, where I have technical difficulties. I hope everybody can still hear me, but my computer is frozen right now. Give me a second. Hopefully it unfreezes on its own. I'm going to keep chit-chatting. And hopefully I'm still heard. But anyway, until this thing fixes itself. I don't know what happened. But anyway, so yeah, again, like I said, there's a lot of great minds in this Refuse to Lose League. So, the fact that it came down to Ty and Vaughn in the championship it couldn't ask for a better championship, to be quite honest with you. All right, so give me a second because I can't do anything until this thing decides to act right. There we go. All right, there we go. We're back. Sorry about that. Oh, you folded? What you mean? Oh, man said he folded in the championship. No. Hey, but somebody got to fold so somebody can roll the other man over. It's the way of the fantasy life, man. It's that life we live in this crazy game. But hey, two good battles. Two good players went head to head. And that's all you can really ask for is a formidable challenger. You don't want to blow out somebody because they just walked into the playoffs. Nah, man, you want that challenge to mean something. Like, I mean, real talk. Ty got to shut up for a whole year. You can't say he's wrong. You can't say he did. You can't say he don't know nothing. He a champ. He a champ. He did what you could not do. He lined up people what you could not line up. He set up the right people. He hit that waiver wire the right way. No trades. He won a championship with no trades. Now I get to go back to my selfishness and say, I was right. It can be done. I mean, I've done it. I didn't believe in Kyler Murray. I mean, the fact that you had him, that was your fault in the first place. Because that's the position that Kyler Murray put you in. You had to choose between playing him and not. Like, nah, bro. That I don't know if Kyler Murray that might have been your downfall. It might have you might have been okay had you had Baker Mayfield over Kyler Murray. Think about that now. Think about Baker Mayfield's numbers right now, and think about Josh Allen's numbers right now. You know what I mean? Give me a quick pause real quick. Sorry, that quick pause. All right, so it was a scary playing Brown, playing wouldn't score, only won by 8. And see, look, an 8-point game is nothing because all it takes is one pass and shut all that down. All it takes is a fumble and a turn, something ugly, and that 8 points quickly is done. Now you down by 2. You can be up by 8. Now you down by 2. That's fantasy football in its finest right there. I'm glad you didn't believe in Murray. Oh man, hey, like I said, look at Baker Mayfield's numbers. Look at Josh Allen's numbers. Pretty similar, right? So that would tell you Baker Mayfield would have been a better choice. But Kyler Murray, that's a rough one for me. That's a rough one, and I can say that the having to be put in that position of making the choice of should I start Kyler Murray or not? Yeah, that'll do it to you. That'll. I don't ever want to lose having to make that decision. I guess in my opinion. All right, so let us take a look, right, at some other people who quite possibly saved our week or failed us. So at the bottom here, Sam Howell was not the one to take us to the championship. So hopefully nobody has Sam. Now, I'll tell you this. Nobody should have had Sam Howell play football for them since week 13. Yeah, since week 13. That should have been like the last game. I don't think I even said start Sam Howell anywhere after that. We all knew Ryan Tannehill busted out. Jared Goff, he tethered out. No, just 1 week. Just 1 week. He's been pretty solid. If you had Jared Goff this year at your quarterback position, I would say, let's see, 1, 2, 3 or 4 weeks you lost. Still put you in the championships or still put you in the playoffs. So 3 or 4 weeks, Jared Goff didn't give you above 10 points, above 15 points. 2 of those games, he didn't get you above 10. Let's see here. Patrick Mahomes. This is the one. If you had Patrick Mahomes this year, it was up and down. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad, but I can assume some losses were lost. Like if you may have lost maybe 6 games instead of 3 or 4 because where Patrick may have gotten you 13 or 19, somebody scored more. Because he has a few of these 13, 15 games where he normally would be in the 20s. Like it is not a balanced season. It's either low 19, 17s or like, 33, 25, 21, 20. But it's 12, 16, 15, 13, 16, 15, 17, 19, 13, 21. He hadn't scored any touchdowns. Normally a Patrick Mahomes team is dropping 5 touchdowns a game. Dude was barely scratching 2. And it was rough because he had no receivers. And you saw that from week 1. And it never got better after that. Oh, man. Let's see here. Matthew Stafford is one for me. I thought Matthew Stafford did a pretty good job this year. Oh, hold on real quick. Boss man.
Max.
Yeah, Cole Kmet. I don't know. I didn't think too. I think I even said people to play him too. I thought with the way Fields was playing a little bit better towards the end of the season, him and Kmet would have had a better connection. But he can you hear me now? Should be good. Let me double check my audio real quick just to make sure everything's good. Yeah. I should be good now. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's go into more players who killed it for us in this fantasy league this year, especially in this last week 17, but pretty much had a good year all year. Let's go with these quarterbacks. So, yeah, Kyler Murray, 25 for 31, 232, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yeah, that should have been a start. But again, who did you start, Vaughn, over Kyler Murray? That's the question I need. Joe Flacco for people. 19 for 29, 309, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Joe Flacco has been playing some late great football for these Browns. I think he can get them in the playoffs. I think if the Browns get into the playoffs with Joe Flacco, real dangerous. That's real dangerous for the AFC. The dude is looking like a kid out here in the field with his gray hair, and I'm loving it. I'm loving me some Flacco. A 2-time champ wouldn't be too bad for him. I'm just saying. Justin Fields is 20 for 32, 268 yards and a touchdown for 25 points. Jordan Love, he's the one that killed a lot of people because they didn't play him because they played Purdy, and he went off 24 for 33, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 rushing yards for another touchdown for 28 points. But the one that topped it off, Mr. MVP, 18 for 21, 321, 5 touchdowns and 35 rushing yards for a fantasy value of 36 points by Lamar Jackson. Let's see. Wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, 7 all year. Brandon Ayuk has been that guy. 7 receptions for 114 yards and a touchdown. Another guy who has been that guy all year, Jayden Reed, my guy. I've been on him all year, and I've been loving him with Green Bay. I mean, from the time Dobbs went out and Ace Boogie said, "Hey, coach, I need a receiver." He said, I'm liking Jayden Reed. I went and looked at something about Jayden Reed. I said, start Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed has been great ever since. 6 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26.9 points. He's like the small version Deebo Samuels for the Green Bay Packers. That's what he plays. DJ Moore, 9. I told everybody start DJ, 9 for 159 and a touchdown for a fantasy value of 30 points. Devontae Adams, 13 receptions, 126 points for 2 touchdowns and 37 yards finally. But I wasn't big on Devontae Adams this year. Didn't like the direction it was going. I thought he should have left a long time ago. Got traded. They didn't want to trade him. I understand that. It is what it is. He got stuck there. CeeDee Lamb, 5 rushing yards, 13 receptions for 227 yards, a touchdown and a fumble. So he fumbled the ball. Y'all still saw he thought he needed to be pissed, huh? Okay. 40 fantasy points. But we don't need to piss. Once in every year, Amari Cooper, who drops 265 yards once every blue moon, and he didn't need to be pissed though, huh? CeeDee Lamb been doing this all year, but he needed to be pissed. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Let's see. Sam Laporta, another year-long tight end or player at tight end, 7 receptions for 84 yards and 15 points. Dallas Goedert, 5 receptions for 47 yards and a touchdown for 15 points. David Njoku, after that phrase, I hate to say it that way, but after the Faceberg buddy turned it on, I get it. He has quarterback now too, but 6 receptions for 134 yards with 17 fantasy value points. My guy, yards and stuff weren't too great, but he got in the end zone twice. I told y'all, keep an eye. I said Mark Andrews is the start. Mark Andrews needs to be up here in the 4th round, but I'm telling you, when Mark Andrews goes down, go get Isaiah Likely. 2 receptions, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 fantasy value points. And the guy who never does anything, 8 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown by Juwan Johnson. That came out of nowhere. I don't even know. He might do it again. That came out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from. I know his wife was happy. Let me stop. All right. Oh, running backs. We missed 64 rushing yards for 2 receptions, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Mr. Jerome Ford, can we please give this man his flowers? He has been the saving grace for running back for this team since Chubb went down. Let's remember that. He has been that guy since Chubb went down, okay? James Conner is the Cardinals, 128 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception, 5 yards for a touchdown for 26 fantasy value points. James Conner does this every year for these guys. He really does play. He can play some football, man. Look, it was literally all on him, and he really made it that way. So kudos to James Conner on a fantastic year. Breece Hall, 84 yards, 9 receptions for 42 yards, and a touchdown for 27 points. Mr. No Legs Pacheco, 130 rushing yards, 7 receptions for 35 yards, and a touchdown for 29.5 fantasy value points. And Mr. Doing It All Year Long, Kyren Williams, 87 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 receptions for a fantasy value of 14 points. And let us go look at some ones that the ones that failed us, shall we? Derrick Henry, 42 rushing yards, 4.2 points. I wasn't big on Derrick Henry this year. He was very up and down. He had some great games, though, but he was too up and down for me. Jahmyr Gibbs, not a great game, but he's a rookie. He was a 4th, 5th round pick. He had some great games. He had some bad games. 43 rushing yards and 1 reception in this one. George Kittle, there was a lot of weapons on this team. I told a lot of people I wasn't big on George Kittle this year due to that fact. He only got work and he only got scoring touchdowns when somebody was out. But outside of that, 3 for 29 is what he was doing all year. Stephon Diggs. In the month of December, 4 receptions for 26 yards for only 7.1 fantasy points. And I mean, while we're on the subject, if I may, you all have Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs did great for you week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. And then it got cold in week 10, in week 11. Oh, it was cold in Philly, but it was force-fed in Philly too. Huh? He was force-fed in Philly. He had 11 targets. He only caught 6. He only had 74 yards. He just scored a touchdown. That's why he got 19 points. But then he had a bye week. And then weeks 14, 15, 16, and 17 in the month of December, it has been 6 points, 8 points, 7 points, 7 points. 24 yards, 48 yards, 29 yards, 26 yards. I mean, what more do y'all want me to say? I can only say but so much. Stephon Diggs cannot play football in the cold. He is him weeks 1 through 9 when it's nice outside. But I need you to understand through weeks 10 through 17, he had one 19-point game because of a touchdown. But other than that, it was 6 points, 6 points, 6 points, 8 points, 7 points, 7 points. 34 yards, 27 yards, 24 yards, 48 yards, 29 yards, 26 yards. That's what you want me to tell y'all to draft in fantasy football? That's what you want coaches to say is going to lead you to a championship? Are you kidding me? Let's go look at fantasy numbers that's going to bring you to a championship, shall we? Because last time I checked, this dude was called a slot boy, a slot receiver. And last time I checked, he lined up outside every week. Let us see here. What I want in the championships. Okay. 25, 10, 14, 1, 8, 18, 41, 28, 39, 16, 17, 32, 19, 18, 25, 40. That's weeks 8 through 17. 41, 28, 39, 16, 17, 32, 19, 18, 25, 40. That is weeks 8 through 17. Weeks 8 through 17. Weeks 1 through 6, he had one 8-point game, but he had 11, 25, 14, 10, and 18. But weeks 8 through 17, CeeDee Lamb is the reason why people are in Super Bowl championships right now. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? That is number one receiver numbers. You understand what I'm telling you? Not Stephon Diggs. Huh? How about them apples? Stephon Diggs. Y'all better stop it. Pick up the Marcus Robinson. That's smart. Yeah, Kyrie Williams went off this year. He was a beast. He was an absolute monster. Rams are in the playoffs literally because of that guy. I'm telling you that right now. Don't get me wrong. What I tell you what's going to happen with Stafford? What I tell you what's going to happen with Stafford after that elbow surgery? That's why I tell people you cannot let these quarterbacks play after that elbow surgery. They basically need to be out like a Tommy John. But what happened there? Oh, Matthew Stafford came out slinging that ball this year. Why? The elbow's good, guys. I told y'all. They need to be out for a year. When you get that elbow surgery, don't play football. You can't throw the ball straight past 15 yards. What good are you? But now look at him. Everybody that's a receiver can catch on this team because he can throw properly, because that elbow's good. He can extend. He can elevate. He can put air behind it. Can't do that with that elbow surgery after that. You just can't. I've never seen a quarterback able to do it. Same as I've never seen a baseball pitcher able to throw a ball after Tommy John surgery. You're going to be out for a year. They're fixing you. So when you have that elbow surgery, I recommend quarterbacks don't play for the year. Sorry, that's just my recommendation, especially if you want them long term. Find another way. All right, guys. So this is going to be a little short of an episode because Coach got a lot of things to do before I get to Disney next week, where I pick back up next week and we basically continue talking the rest of the fantasy league after this. We still have one more week left. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do a start and sit show this week because I will be leaving on that Friday. However, if you have any questions about who to start and sit, you can reach me on YouTube. I will be able to answer on YouTube. Excuse me. You can also find me on Instagram at OTF Podcast MIA. You can hit me up on a direct message there and ask me any start to sit questions that you have, or you can hit me up on X as well. Same handle, OTF Podcast MIA, and that way I'll be able to answer any of your start sit questions going into this weekend. All right, so you guys have a wonderful time. This is a great show I had with you guys. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm gonna miss you. It's only gonna be a couple weeks. This is the rest of this week and maybe next week, just so I can get. It's kind of like I'm going on a sports vacation, but just so I can get settled in at Disney for my internship. And once I'm settled in there and everything's good to go, I can set up everything and get ready for another show, our playoff segment show. Which, even though we're not doing anything per fantasy, coach is going to do a playoff segment show. So that's going to be real fun. Just going to basically talk about players and talk to you guys and talk about the playoffs, who we predicting, who we talking think is going to win it all. Just having some good old fashioned football lingo, circle talk, however you want to call it. But thank you guys again. Vaughn, I appreciate you showing up, my guy. Man, I know you had, next year. But I don't know, because coach is coming. And I'm coming for it all. All right, guys. I had a great show today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Coach is out.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.